Alright, quick update on Enjin coin. So as you can see, we came down to our price target that we've been talking about for the past couple of videos. It seemed fairly obvious. We just kept on crashing between the bottom, the top, the bottom, and the top. And then, we drew our fibs, at which point, when we predicted this, we were somewhere around about the 618 getting rejected. And then obviously once you broke below the 786 and retested it, that was the nail in the coffin to have a move back to the downside. So where are we sitting right now for Enjin coin? What can we expect? Because previously we talked about moving down to this region and then having a potential bounce come into play. But it all depends on how we react to this support box that we've got down here. So as of the time of recording, the absolute low is down here on this wick at approximately $1. We talked about that being a psychological level as well. So we had the $1 box in before this wick even came to the downside. But if we line it up perfectly, you can see we literally came down to exactly $1 before having a bounce out of here. So what to expect now for Enjin coin? Well, if we come down to the much lower time frames, you can see this bounce is actually putting us right back into the downtrending level of support, which could now potentially be getting flipped as resistance. Now, I would like to highlight we have fallen out of this multiple times. However, after retesting it within 24 hours every single time, so this time this was retested and we were above it in 8 hours, but in this instance you had another 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and then on the 24th hour, so one day exactly, you were out of there. So we'd really need to see a pump above this. I'd imagine by the end of the weekend, obviously it's Sunday today, I'd like to see I'd like to see Enjin getting back above, let's say approximately $1.10. If we keep on getting rejected at this region that we're at right now, we could be setting up for a big drop on Enjin coin. And where could we potentially drop at this point? Because we've lost our 786 fib. And if I draw it to the candle body close, I really don't think there's even much support down from there. No, we've already completely invalidated both of your 786 fibs. So unfortunately, if we do break down from the psychological level of $1, the only real thing that we've got at this point is this support box from these wicks down here. Now, if I connect these 3 dots, because we've already fallen below these floors down here, which lined up with your 786 fib, we'll mark this green as support. But yeah, like I said, this is your last line in the sand. I wouldn't be looking to trade Enjin coin right now. I think it's very clear that the markets are in a huge downtrend. Bitcoin is tanking very, very harshly right now. The markets are getting something like a dead cat bounce, but do bear in mind the stock market has not opened yet. It will open tomorrow, and if you look on the right side of my screen, you can see all these blue chip stocks like Coinbase, Tesla, Facebook, they've all lost their support and they're currently falling off the face of the earth. The SPY stock market ETF is completely tanking as well. The Nasdaq is making new lows, so I don't think now's the right time to enter a trade on Enjin coin. And you can see, I mean, if you look at these 4-hourly EMA ribbons, we've got a pretty solid area of resistance, and every time we come into these we get rejected. You get rejected, 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 rejected. So I don't think there's any point in trying to catch a falling knife on Enjin coin right now. If you do believe this is going to do very well in the long term, if you believe that it's going to skyrocket up to $5, then fair enough, so be it, but you might just want to wait and see if you can get cheaper price targets. I understand wanting to DCA a project that you believe in for the long term, but when you've got something so clear cut like these 4-hourly EMA ribbons, which you're constantly getting rejected from, I think it would not be a good idea to enter a long position or even DCA at this moment in time. You could see potentially a move up to $1.17. If we become extra euphoric, we could even have a move up to $1.25 before getting another rejection, because as you can see, we've had a few times where we've wicked a significant amount above. I mean, here the EMA ribbons were coming in at 117, we went all the way up to 180. So you know, adding on another 10 cent or so, we could even pump up to 135. This is where I imagine the utmost level of resistance would come in. I don't really see us getting above 135 anytime soon. That would bring us almost to the heart line. If we did roll over at that point, we'd have another macro lower high. But yeah, like I said, we could be about to gear up for that bounce in the channel. I don't think now's the right time to trade. We have a Federal Reserve meeting between the 3rd and the 4th of May. I'm going to be personally sitting on the sidelines for these altcoin trades until that meeting is done. I think we could rally out the meeting, but yeah, you're seeing right now we had strong volume taking us below this support, which could now be flipped as resistance. The bears are in full control of the lower time frames. The higher time frames you go onto, like the daily, you can even see the bearish momentum recently reset itself, and now it's accumulating to the downside. So we could be seeing a further pullback into potentially the 96 cent. The absolute lowest that you'd want to see Enjin go is back down to 75 cent, because if we lose that, then you know, it's going to get very, very ugly for us in the short term. So, once again, the trend is your friend until the end. I don't plan on trying to catch the falling knife on this Enjin trade. As you can see, the EMA ribbons have only started to recently fire very bearish to the downside. The last time they kind of reset and started firing bearish, we had, you know, all the way from up here at $2 down to $1. So I don't think necessarily this correction's over. Like I'm saying, trend is your friend until the end. I'm not trying to catch a falling knife on this one. These 4 hourly EMAs are such a clear area of resistance. I'd wait for them to get cleared and flip bullish before I'd look to enter an Enjin trade. So that's all I've got for Enjin. As always, none of this is financial advice, just my opinion on the market. And as always, cowboy out. Peace.